Doesn't matter. Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started with the Tuesday, November 4th meeting of the Transportation, Energy, and Utilities Committee. Let's start off with introductions, starting with Mr. Delaney.
Good morning, y'all. Bill Delaney, Mayor's Office.
Brandon Russell, Council Research.
Carla Schell, Office of General Counsel.
Edward Linsky, Council Auditor's Office.
Ken Amara, City Council District 1.
Reggie Gaffney Jr., District 8.
Will Lane in District 3.
Good morning, Matt Carlucci at large, Group 4.
Good morning, Tyrone Clark Murray, District 9.
All right, good morning, everyone. So what we're going to do today, we're going to start off, we have some folks here from FDOT, and they're going to give an update on the Main Street Bridge trunnion replacement project. There's been a lot of news on what sounds like it's going to be a fairly substantial and a long time frame project. And so I was kind of curious. I asked our friends at FDOT if they could just come and give us kind of the 5-minute highlight of what this project entails, how long the bridge will be out, and some other details. So we're going to start off with them. Then we'll switch to public comment after that. I see Mr. Nooney out there. If you do intend to have a public comment, just like a full council meeting, please come down here and sit in the reserved seats so we minimize the time spent walking back and forth. And then our agenda is pretty light today. We only have 5 action items that have already gone through other committees and all appear to be unanimous in other committees, but we do have the right people here if there are any questions on those action items. So with that, I'm going to turn over to FDOT, and when you come up, just please give your name and address. And I'm not going to start the clock, but just roughly 5 minutes like we talked about.
All right, thank you. So I'm Ross Hammock, and I am the District Corridor Program Manager for FDOT. My address is currently 710 Northwest Lake Jeffrey Road, Lake City, Florida. So I'm here to just briefly talk about the Main Street trunnion project, which is scheduled to let in fiscal year 28. The current let date is scheduled for July of 27, but that is just a placeholder. We don't have a definite let date yet, but it will be sometime in that fiscal year 28. The goal is to have it early in the fiscal year as well. So the trunnion project itself is just that. The trunnion is call it a drum that's at the top of the towers, and it turns, and that's what actually lifts the span up and down. It's one of the last original mechanical pieces of the bridge that has not been rehabbed to date. So that's what the gist of this project is to replace that main piece. However, there's other things that are going to be done as part of the project since we're going to have that opportunity. And as y'all know, the bridge will be shut down during that period of when the trunnion is actually being replaced. We're going to paint the bridge. There'll be a new deck put on the lift span, so we'll be removing the grading from it, and a number of other strengthening items that will be done. In order to replace the trunnion, we have to first strengthen the towers that hold the trunnion, because the bridge is as old as it is. The trunnions are made now are beefier and heavier than the original trunnion when it was originally built. So when the project does actually, the contract executes, the bridge won't be shut down immediately. There will be a point of time where we have an acquisition period where we have to place the order for the new trunnion. And with the recent tariffs that have taken place, we're not sure just how that's going to affect that schedule. Most movable bridge parts do come from overseas, so that is going to play a part in that with this whole schedule of the project. We just recently, in July of this year, started the design, so we just got it kicked off and going. So we don't have a definitive timeline yet on what projected date the bridge would actually close to traffic. However, when that happens, our detour route is the Acosta Bridge. So it's a very short detour. And as y'all know, a couple months ago, we did close it down for about a week in August. We had to do that in order to start the design on it. We had to get some measurements, and we did some LiDAR imaging. And in order to be as precise as possible, we had to remove traffic from the bridge so that we didn't have the vibration going on, so we could get those accurate measurements. So with that, like I said, it won't close down immediately. When it does, when we do have to shut the movable part down for the trunnion replacement, it is, we are being told it'll take up to 6 months. So that detour would be in place for up to 6 months while the trunnion is replaced. And we're not sure yet if the whole movable span will be removed and floated off down the river to a holding facility while they're doing that. But the bridge will have to be in the open position for the Coast Guard. So traffic will be removed from the bridge for that period of time. So, any questions? That's really the update that I had.
Thank you. I do have a couple of people in the queue. I'm going to ask a definition question first before I go to the members. You said let date for the non-construction people up here. What does let date mean? Is that the same as the commencement date?
That is the date that the bids are actually due to the department.
Thank you. Mr. Amara.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sizable undertaking, new decking, new painting, strengthening of the towers, replacing of the trunnion, and all that is going to be accomplished in 6 months?
No. Oh. The trunnion, from what we are being currently told, that will take roughly 6 months. So when the project contract is executed, the bridge won't be shut down immediately. There'll be a period of time because they have to order the parts. But also, in order to replace the trunnion, they have to strengthen the towers. So they'll start by strengthening towers first. Traffic will still be on the bridge. During the time when the trunnion is being replaced, traffic will be removed, and things like the grading that's going to be replaced, that'll be done during that period of time. So the goal is to schedule those items so we would not be shutting down traffic all the time. We would do it in this as much as we can in that 6 month period to minimize the impacts to traffic.
One more question through the chair. I love the Main Street Bridge. I hope you paint it blue again. But given its age and design, well, two questions. Number one, the total cost of all this work. But secondly, given the age and design of the bridge being one of the few movable spans in high traffic areas, is there much life left in that bridge, or do you anticipate 10 years from now a complete different structure?
No, with the historic significance of that bridge, our intentions are to keep the bridge going. And part of this rehab project, replacing the trunnion, will extend that life. I believe trunnions are built for like 100 years of life. So that's a pretty significant for the mechanical portion of it. And then the strengthening that's being done, that's just resetting the clock on those items on the bridge to give us more life out of it. And then ultimately painting it is going to preserve the steel as well. So that we anticipate Main Street Bridge being around much longer than probably any of us. Currently, I believe the project is just over $100 million, like total all in. Construction, I believe, is just construction alone. If I remember correctly, is like 80 something million. So all phases is just over 100. So it's going to be a pretty significant project, but it's going to extend the life of the Main Street Bridge for a long time.
Thank you. Ms. Clark-Murray.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. Mr. Amaro asked all the questions, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm crossing out a lot on my notepad here, so I guess I'll ask one other question about safety. Will there be an inspection in terms of, as a part of this refurbishing project? Does that go along with other aspects of the bridge being inspected to make sure that it's all sound?
Yes, ma'am. So Just because the bridge will be under construction doesn't mean that we'll stop the inspections. We are still mandated by FHWA every 2 years to do a routine inspection, but also every year we have to do a mechanical and electrical inspection on the bridge. So those will continue even though it'll still be under construction. And then as we reach certain milestones in construction, the department will be performing what we would call a 90% inspection. And out of those inspections, we will provide a punch list to the contractor of things that need to be corrected. And usually they're very, very minor things. So by the time that the bridge is complete or this project is completed, it will have had another full inspection to verify that everything was done correctly and everything's functioning properly.
All right, thank you so much for that. And through the chair to Mr. Amaro, Jacksonville would not be Jacksonville without the Main Street Bridge, sir. I mean, really? That's just like, what? Okay. And as far as the color, I like the blue. Yeah, we'll keep it blue. That's what I'm saying already.
The plan is for it to continue to be the blue color. So.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
I'd like to recognize Councilmember Dr. Johnson, who has arrived, and Councilmember Carlucci, you're up next.
I remember when it was silver. Oh, that was such a nice color.
I do not.
Question: what about the piers underneath that hold it up down in the water? I guess they're good forever. I mean, what's
there's also going to be some rehab work that'll be going on for the piers in the water as well. They are in good shape. Most of the deterioration that happens on this is everything above the water that's exposed to the salt air and oxygen, which causes the corrosion. So, but yes, we'll be doing some additional stuff to all the piers as far as trying to mitigate corrosion on them as well.
And then I should know this, but I don't. I think I know approximately. When was that bridge built?
1948.
48. Wow, I thought it went back further than that. Okay. Well, and it's going to, and then the bridge will be. This work will be in 1928 or 1928. I'm showing my age there. 2028.
Yes, I would say the bulk of the work will be underway in 28, which is what our fiscal year 28. We anticipate executing the contract sometime after July of 27.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No one else in the queue. I thank you for this update. I think one thing you heard here, we got unanimous support for the blue color. And I think the highlight here is around July 2027 is when you're going to start getting bids back. Construction will begin some point after that. But as far as the daily impact to Jacksonville citizens, it's going to be about 6 months in which they're going to have to use an alternate route. I see our Public Works leadership team is here. I assume y'all are working very closely with them as well. And all the other questions I had were asked. So again, just thank you for this. And we look forward to seeing what sounds like everybody's talking about the trunnion, but it sounds like there's lots of new things that are going to greatly extend the life for more than just what the trunnion part of it is. So we thank you for all the work you're going to do on our Pride Bridge of downtown. We do appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. And we will continue to keep y'all updated on the project as a schedule becomes, developed, just so that everybody is aware of the timelines and when the anticipated 6-month period of shutdown will be.
Great. Thank you very much. We're now going to switch to a public comment. Mr. Oliver, you have 2 minutes to speak on an item on today's agenda.
Yes, my name is Carnell. Address is on file. I have a lot of interest in the Main Street Bridge, but I have a couple of questions. As there in the contract that's being worked out with the state and maybe the local level, is there a preference clause in it to get Black Americans first dibs on the contracts? That's the first question. Number two, really, I would prefer Black Americans who are on the JSEP program to be involved in the construction piece. Number two, we got 3 bridges that are named after white politicians, but we've never named not one of the bridges in our urban core after a Black American that served our community. I would rather see the name Old Uptown Main Street Bridge or somebody that represented this community on that bridge. But there's conflicting issue. If I want to enforce the pride of Black Americans in this community, we have one issue that contradicts that. And that's the statue of Andrew Jackson. Right on the other side of the downtown library, there was a sign put up talking about Andrew Jackson. We know the story all too well. But the story of the 1901 Great Fire ain't really been told in the old city limits. There's a real lack of respect for Black Americans. And I personally feel like we need our own government. And it needs to go through Indian affairs. Self-governance, that's power.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Next up, John Nooney. Mr. Nooney, on an item on the agenda.
Hello, I am John J. Nooney, 8356 Bascom Road, Jacksonville, Florida, 32216. Jacksonville City Council Resolution 2023-0819. City Council District 4, CPAC, Planning District 3, and Duval County Public School Resiliency Field Trip District 3. Okay, special shout out to the Board of County Commissioners in St. Johns County. Krista Joseph, Chair, Clay Murphy, Vice Chair, Christian Whitehurst, Sarah Arnold, Ann Taylor. Okay, OED, the Office of Extraordinary Dudes. I mean, we're making a movie. It's going to be wicked. Yeah, I'll be, got a minute 20 for agenda items. 1. Number 2, 2025-0767. Okay, this is woke joke doge stuff. Okay, we got $292,000. Is Greg Strong or anyone with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection here? Okay, it's not in waterways. City Adaptation and Cogliani's Plan Public Park, 2025-0019 on Plattsburgh Creek. Resilient Jacksonville. Here it is. I'm in this thing 4 times. All right, and okay, just 50 seconds. Ask Ann about her first meeting, at the Environmental Protection Board with James Richardson. You know what? We walked over from the City Hall to the Ed Ball building. It was in the first floor. Check the sign-in sheet. I mean, I was there. I have yet to have an email back from Ann. You know what? If she's not, is this an emergency? Defer it. So anyway, and I'll tell you, Dr. Pinto was there. Now, we aren't talking about 2024-0107 or 2024-0325. Okay, this is just huge evidence. Okay, agenda item 3, number 5, 2025-0782. That's a public hearing. Spot J, Launch J, Jim Love, Kevin Cazell.
Thank you, Mr. Nooney.
All right, thank you for listening.
All right, so the agenda, just to flip through it quick, we have 9 items total. Item 1, 2025-0766, will amend and move. Item 2, 2025-0767, we will move. Item 3, 2025-0768, will amend and move. Item 4, 2025-0769, amended and move. Item number 5, 2025-0782, we will open and close a public hearing on that, but that is going to be deferred due to noticing requirements. And then the remainder of the items 6 through 9, which are items 2025-0805, 0806, 0807, 0808, are all on second reading. So with that, at the top of the agenda, item 1, 2025-0766, can I get a motion on the amendment? I got a motion and a second. Mr. Linsky, please.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment updates the second revised Schedule B1A. The schedule will reflect 1,300 hours, which was what was originally approved when this grant came through. And it should have been included on it as part of the budget. And then also as part of this bill, they are adding an additional 1,040 for a total of 2,340 hours for this grant operation in the current fiscal year. And there's also a Scrivener's item.
Thank you. I have no one in the queue. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. I got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. I have no one in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote. And I'll keep the ballot open for Dr. Johnson.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By our actions, we have passed 2025-0766. Item 2, 2025-0767. Got a motion and second on the bill. Councilmember Carlucci, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, I just would like to know a Cliff Notes version of what the city adaptation plan is.
Looks like we have the right person in the audience to come answer your question.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Jenny Hinton. I'm the Deputy Chief Resilience Officer here on behalf of Ann this morning. The adaptation plan will be a prioritization of capital improvement projects. So it will be a framework to help us understand what resilience benefits we're getting from each of those projects so that we can better apply for Resilient Florida grant funding.
Through the chair, are these projects that have already been completed or projects to be completed?
Projects that are on the current CIP list and projects that could be added to the CIP list.
Okay.
So upcoming projects.
Okay, so would that mean they would be evaluated? So if there's changes that need to be made in order to make them more effective for resiliency purposes, the changes would be made or considered? Is that what we're
I believe
doing?
that's outside of the current scope. Right now, I'd be considering the projects as proposed.
Considering for what?
Their rank for where they fall as far as prioritization for resilience impacts.
So we're considering that they're already resilient in nature, but which ones are the most important for resilient purposes?
Yes, sir. So understanding which projects may have the greatest impact on flooding in our communities or those that may impact our heat footprint, things like that.
Do you have an example of which of those there might be?
We've got some bridge raising projects that would help us to overcome future sea level rise and flooding impacts. So I assume those would be on the list. As far as where they would rank, I'm not sure how those would rank compared to other projects at this time.
And I'm obviously going to support this, and I think the Office of Resiliency does a great job. I haven't seen Ann for a long time, but I hope she's doing well. And Mr. Chair, I think at some point, as a committee member, I might suggest that we have a presentation on how much progress the city has made since we created the Office of Resiliency back in probably 2020. We don't talk that much about resiliency, but that was one of the big issues on my agenda when I was elected back in 2019, and we worked hard to put that together. And that's probably one of the biggest issues that our children and our children's children will face in the years to come. And so I'd like to see what kind of progress it's made. I've been sitting back just letting her do her job, and you're in that office too, I suppose?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And happy to let y'all do your work. But I'd kind of like to have an update. So I'm just throwing that out there, Mr. Chair, if you'd like to consider that. I think it might be good for the committee and for the council. Thank you.
And thank you. And to Councilman Carlucci and the rest of the committee, as of now, I have no presentations on the docket. So if you want to reach out to my ECA, if you have an idea, more than welcome. That sounds like a great presentation. I'll just work with Jamie, and we can work on getting the right people here at an upcoming date. With that, no more speakers in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By our actions, we have approved 2025-0767. Item 3, 2025-0768. I got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Linsky, please.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment attaches a revised CIP sheet to correct the prior year presentation.
Thank you. I have no in the queue. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Amendment passes. I got a motion bill as amended. I got a motion and second on the bill as amended. I have no in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By our actions, we passed 2025-0768. Item 4, 2025-0769. Can I get a motion on the amendment? Got a motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Linsky.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment is the same as with the prior bill, just updating that CIP sheet to reflect the proper information.
Thank you. I have no one in the queue. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Amendment passes. Can I get a motion on the bill as amended? Got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. I have no one in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By our actions, we pass 2025-0769. Item 5, 2025-0782. I'm going to open the public hearing. One speaker card, Mr. John Nooney. Mr. Nooney, directly on this piece of legislation.
Hello, I am John J. Nooney, 8356 Bascom Road, Jacksonville, Florida, 32216. I'm in City Council District 4, CPAC, Planning District 3, School Board, Resiliency, Field Trip Park, District 3. All right, okay, on the bill, public hearing, 2025-0782. And, you know, I support the legislation. And let me just say, you got two issues here. Also, it's in neighborhoods, rules, TEU, but it's not in waterways. Now, has anyone done an Ancestry.com on this thing? I mean, you know, we're going to be going from Catherine Street, you know, to, you know, Henry Bradley's place. You know, it's, you know, I'll tell you. And then we're just going to be naming a building. You know, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But will this also eliminate Catherine Street downtown? Just asking. And let me just say, too, you know, when I think of that place, that's the 26 feet of Catherine Street. You know, it's on the North Bank. On the South Bank, we had the 26 feet of Catherine Street. But I go back to two Navy veterans, Jim Love, Kevin Cazell, you know, Councilman Stephen Jost. I mean, we met right there at the end. You know, it had some firehouse subs with a kayak right there. This was at one time a fined consideration, and it wasn't my idea. The other thing that's awesome about all this stuff, none of this is my idea. You know, Kevin Cazell, I mean, it was like brilliant. And I go, wow, that is awesome, man. And, you know, so anyway, you know, it's right here. So you know, when you change this name and you change the history, don't forget the history of what existed before. And that is public access on our waterways downtown. And if people think for 1 second we're getting crushed, absolutely crushed. So I'm just down to like 40 some seconds. But anyway, you know, I'm curious, will this eliminate Catherine Street, you know, throughout that whole downtown? Because we've shut off and we've done a lot. Just asking that. And anyway, you know, the public hearings, it's going to continue. This one will go to November 12th. We got November 25th. And, you know, we are redefining downtown. So I support it. Bradley's place, I'm in. And I just hope someone has reached out. I mean, I don't know why I'm the only speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Nooney.
All right, thank you.
Ms. LaPierre, I'm sorry, Ms. Shell. It's going to take us a while. I have two members in the queue. Do I need to continue the public hearing first, or should I recognize those members?
To the chair, I would gavel and continue the public hearing till 11:18:25.
This public hearing is continued till 11:18:25. Council member Dr. Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to speak to this piece of legislation. In a noticed meeting, Councilman Peluso and I have worked on this, and I want to tell you why this is so important. I honestly didn't know that Mr. Nooney would be speaking today, but certainly I'm glad, you know, to hear that he had something to say and that he was looking at this important piece of legislation. And not only does this predate the reason for this change, predate the information that Mr. Nooney shared, but it also preserves the history of downtown. And I want to let the public and community know Catherine Street will not disappear. It still remains. This is only a small portion of Catherine Street, and this history of Jacksonville predates anything, including that sub that was talked about. Nevertheless, just so we understand, Henry Bradley was an amazing man who we don't know how he looked. We don't know anything about him much because he passed away. Back in the late 1880s, Mr. Bradley was an African-American man. Jacksonville had a volunteer fire department. We did not have what we now know as JFRD. And there was a burning building. Obviously, this is before the Great Fire of 1901. But this man, with no regard for his life, he wanted to save who was there. He ran into a burning building, and unfortunately, he lost his life. He was buried in an unmarked grave in the Old City Cemetery. And if there are any, and we have not been able to find them, but his descendants are all deceased now. Thankfully, the fire department, the union, put a marker to his life in the cemetery. But since being elected to the council, one of the things that I've tried to do as someone who is a student of history is to ensure that we preserve those kind of things in our city. And so while there aren't a lot of people that visit the Old City Cemetery, I felt it was befitting to remember Mr. Bradley because the sacrifice of his life is what created the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department today. And so that's the purpose for this honoring him. And coincidentally, this station on Catherine Street, which was fire station number 3, I believe, was the only fire station at one point during segregation that African Americans were allowed to fight. It is now, or fight fires from. It is now the fire museum for everyone. So I think it's a beautiful tribute to a man who gave his life to this city. We won't know how he looks, but we certainly can remember his name. So I look forward to forwarding this legislation and making sure that our city is a beacon of placemaking and understanding and even resiliency. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Carlucci.
Well, that's a great story. I love it, and I hope that all of that is somehow placed in a marker somehow. And but who was Catherine? I'd like to know who Catherine was. Anybody know?
Councilmember Dr. Johnson.
I know, I do the research. So it was the daughter of, from my understanding, and Cherry Pollock and I worked on this, Ms. Pollock from the Office of General Counsel, and I'm not sure if she's here. I don't think she is because it's being deferred, but she was the daughter, and I'm not looking at that detail, I do have it upstairs, the daughter of one of the founding members of, from my understanding, that part of Jacksonville.
Okay. All right. I had a feeling. And
but it won't change through the chair.
You can't answer this question.
Okay.
'Cause you'll know the answer.
Okay.
But how many people know who Laura Street was named after? No, you can't answer it either, Bill. I'll let Bill Delaney answer then, and then I know you know. And then well, Isaiah D. Hart's daughter, as was Julia, Isaiah D. Hart's daughter. So these names sometimes have a funny, and so I had a feeling Catherine. I knew you would know Catherine because I know what a researcher you are. So these are the fascinating little things I think that are interesting to know about our city. So anyway, now I know who Catherine was. Almost. If you got more, send more to me. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure. No one else in the queue. Dr. Johnson, remind me where this street is. Is this by where the fire museum has been relocated to? So Catherine Street goes all the way to the water, and now it's, okay. You recognize.
But, Mr. Chair, it's just that portion on the water side. The other side will remain Catherine Street.
Okay, and Dr. Johnson, have you talked to the IAFF about this? I believe, are they the ones who run the fire museum? Does the fire museum, are they supportive of this?
They're supportive. The Brotherhood of Firefighters is supportive. The fire department with Chief Golden is supportive. Before I put this legislation in, when I heard the story, it was so riveting to me. I went and walked over to the monument in Old City Cemetery. I walked Catherine Street. I found obviously a lot of the people who were understanding of the story had passed on, but I was able to get as much history as I could, and everyone has been supportive.
Thank you. Please add me as a co-sponsor to this legislation. We have no other members in queue. Anything else before I gavel out? With that, we will adjourn. All righty.